Hi, I'm Robert Castle. This is the next in a series of short takes on topics of importance in the realm of performance and leadership. Today's topic is about flow states. Have you ever had a time where everything seemed to be going well for you, where you were on the top of your game, you're in the zone, and even when challenges came up, you met them head on with little to no resistance? When this happens, it's a lot of fun, right? You get a lot accomplished and you feel great. Wouldn't you like to be in that state of high performance more frequently, not only in business, but in your personal life? Well, keep listening. We're going to talk about what flow states are, why they're important, and how you can get yourself into the flow to maximize your own performance and leadership potential. The concept of flow was pioneered by a psychologist out of the University of Chicago named Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Dr. Csikszentmihalyi describes flow as that state where one is fully immersed in an activity, feeling energized, focused, full involvement, and enjoyment in the process. And this state of mind is very powerful because it's linked to being in a zone of peak motivation, high performance, and positive mental health and well-being. Dr. Csikszentmihalyi did a series of experiments using a technique called the experience sampling method, which had people wear pagers for a week and write down how they felt. They basically answered a survey about whatever they were thinking, feeling, and experiencing whenever they were paged, which was several times a day, often at random intervals. And he did this for thousands of people and summarized his conclusions in a book called Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience. Have you ever been in a flow state? Most likely, yes. Can you recall a time where you were so completely immersed in an activity that time itself seemed to stop? Have you ever experienced doing some activity and feeling like you were totally in the zone, you felt at one with and immersed in the activity? Or maybe you looked down at the time and realized that several hours had passed, but it only felt like minutes, and you wondered, where did the time go? These are all examples of flow experiences. Let's make it a little bit more practical and concrete. Professionals have been known to enter flow states when they're solving significant business challenges, such as trying to come up with a strategy to turn around a failing company, or to solve technology challenges, such as coding around the clock to meet a big release deadline. Athletes often enter flow states during athletic competitions, either solo sports like skiing or bowling, or team sports, basketball, soccer, etc. Artists enter flow states during creative activities, such as developing music, writing, painting, even leisure activities, such as gardening. Surgeons report going into flow states during surgery, where they're in an intense state of focus with little to no margin for error. And factory workers even report flow states while working the assembly line. So flow states can be accessed in almost any activity, business, creative, and leisure. While these flow states often appear to arise accidentally and infrequently, they can actually be intentionally and deliberately created. Dr. Csikszentmihalyi gives us what he calls the 5 C's to greatly improve one's ability to enter these flow states. The first C is clarity of goals, knowing what you want and having clear goals that are not conflicting and not confusing. Having a well understood set of steps really helps. The second C is centering, a feeling of focused concentration, like a beam of focused attention that enables you to achieve much more than you would normally. The third is choice. Knowing that you have a choice and have chosen to do what you're doing is a very empowering concept versus having to do it. The fourth, commitment, the ability to care about what you're doing. And the fifth is challenge. There needs to be a match between the challenge level and the skill level. So if an activity is too hard, it'd be very easy to become overwhelmed. But if it's too easy, on the other hand, you could become bored. So it needs to be a good balance between the challenge and your particular skill level. Now, many leaders find the concept of flow to be an important part of their business success. For me personally, I've identified ways to trigger flow states within myself in order to solve business and technology challenges that were critical for me at the time. I highly recommend that you explore the concept of flow and incorporate it into your own personal leadership and performance toolkit. Now, there's no way for me to do this man's great work justice in a short take. So before I sign off, I'd like to point you to some resources that can help you understand the concept of flow. First of all, go to the source, read Dr. Csikszentmihalyi's work, Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience. Also, Stephen Kotler, an author and journalist, has written a number of books on the topic, and he wrote a very good article. It's a pretty quick read in the Harvard Business Review. It's called Create a Work Environment That Fosters Flow. So I recommend you take a look at that article, and I'll post links to these resources in the write-up associated with this video. And then finally, I'd take a look at positivepsychology.com, search on flow. There are a number of articles. There was one by Catherine Moore, a psychologist, and also somebody by the name of Elaine Houston, who wrote some articles on flow that I think are worthwhile and a great way to get introduced to the topic. So again, all these resources are listed below in the post, and I'll leave you with a few questions. First question is, how can you use flow states to increase your own performance? And the second question is, how could you lead your team or organization in a way that enables your team members to access flow states? So that's my short take on flow states. I hope it helps. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening. If you found this worthwhile, please like and subscribe. And if you have a suggestion for a future topic, contact me and I'll consider doing a short take on it sometime in the future. Take care.